Hello, everyone. Welcome to Friday, and we all know what Friday means around here now. That is Chat Gauntlet Day. Chat is going to battle me in a all-human in-pod draft. We play best of one so that I can battle every single person who takes the time to draft with me today. And it's also fun because that means I get 7 games against everybody at the table, and it creates a nice little best of 7 here for us to play. Will Chat get to 4 wins first, or will I? I think 3 weeks running now, it's been Chat. I mean, they've all been 3-4 losses, so it's not like I've been blown out. But I would like to not only retain my hair, but end this losing streak. Be nice to get back on top, get to 4 wins this week. First things first, though, I gotta get 1 win and protect the locks, because that is my penalty for 07. If Chat can 07, they get to decide on my next haircut. And if Chat can 06 or 16 or 25 me even, that's if I go 25 or 16, then we get to go shopping at the store for some bling. Use some of these precious gems to bling it up. So that's on the table as well. And I'm here on this screen here just because we are doing Throne of Eldraine, and Throne of Eldraine is the quick draft format this week, which means bots. And Eldraine has... if you're watching this on YouTube or you're here live and considering playing some Eldraine on Arena, I just want to mention, it's bot draft, and what we've noticed again is that the bots tend to leave red and white underdrafted. It's not that you have to be those 100% of the time, but if you want to go in leaning in the correct direction with the Eldraine bots, it seems like red and white aggro are a good place to start. You can do whatever you want there, but also do not try for the mill deck. The mill deck has been basically botted out of the system by having the bots desire the pieces so highly. So don't try to do mill against bots. But hey, maybe somebody will find the mill deck in our draft today, because it's humans. All humans drafting all the cards and then playing with them together here. I'm excited about that. If you're excited about Throne of Eldraine cards, you can find them at cardkingdom.com. If you're excited about the upcoming Zendikar cards, the Card Kingdom now has a launch page for the new set. Here, let me give you some links. Zendikar Rising. If you want to see what Card Kingdom has for Zendikar Rising stuff, there's their landing page for that. You actually can go there with my affiliate link first, or after, whatever. At some point, going there via my affiliate link is nice, but you can check out all the great stuff that you can pre-order for Zendikar. I'm a little lost. Weren't we just talking about like Commander Draft or something, and they were previewing stuff for that? How many sets does WotC release at once at this point? Is it like 3 sets at all times are being previewed? I just feel like I'm constantly looking at preview cards, which is, of course, I'm sure how they would like it. And if you see any preview cards you like, you know where to get them, right? Check out my sponsor, Card Kingdom. Thanks, Card Kingdom. Now let's hop over to left monitor and take a look at the scene. I got to bring up my draft page there. Here we go. All right. So those of you who have not joined us for this before, we're on mtgadraft.herokuapp.com, which is the website we use to battle each other, draft offline, export our decks into Arena, and then use the friend challenge system in Arena to battle each other with our limited decks. So that's how we do it. One nice thing about it is if you have the wild cards, it's free. I have Eldraine 4x'd, so shouldn't need to craft any of this, and I can draft Eldraine as much as I want, as long as I can find 7 other people who want to do it with me. And if you want to find those 7 other people, you're going to find that in our Discord. Go to our Discord, and Hat has given you some info there in chat, and you can both participate in this very Gauntlet event every Friday if you put some time in on our Discord. And of course, if you just like to draft, you can join our friends on Discord for that as well. But let's get going. Are we ready? Hat is in charge here. I'm sure he'll fire off the ready check. There it is. Looks like some good players in the queue this week. This could be it. This could be where I lose my hair. I'm looking. There's a murderer's row going on in those names. Yes, I don't recognize Jank in the Tank, but a lot of strong names in this queue. All right, we've got a Hushbringer on our rare slot. Not exactly where I want to start. It's playable, but not where I want to start. I think I'd rather start on Beanstalk Giant over the 2-color Grumgully. Other cards of note. I note the Rimrock Knight. Not only note it, but note that it's the only red card here. Well, Grumgully is red-green. Only mono red card here is Rimrock Knight. I really like Grumgully. I just don't want to go start with a gold card. I'd rather start with a Beanstalk Giant. They're both pretty strong uncommons, but this one is monocolored and helps us go in many different color directions with the fixing. So that seems like a fine place to start to me. But actually, Rimrock Knight is my number 2 here. I like an aggro red deck in the format, and a Rimrock Knight is a fine place to start with that. Beanstalk Giant fixes on 3, fixes and ramps on 3, and then gets to come down later as a big beefy ground pounder. Neither side is particularly efficient, but that's kind of the nature of these adventure cards. Slight inefficiency on each half, but you get 2 cards in one, built in 2 for 1. We like those around here. No, I don't think you missed a great card. I think that was a pretty bad pack. Forever Young was fine. You could have considered that. I mean, but it's not one you want to first pick. It's just like Forever Young is a card you want in a black deck eventually, you know? Rare missing here, so we don't have any signals to learn from. Trapped in the Tower is fine removal, but we started on a green non-human, so I kind of like Keeper here as a follow. It may have been almost the pick regardless of what else is here. Pixie is also, you know, we could take Pixie. This might wheel, though. Honestly, blue-green is not a particularly important or viable archetype in the format. I mean, maybe base green with some blue or whatever, but I never think of this format as like, ooh, my sweet green-blue deck. And taking the Keeper keeps us monocolored. So I'm going to take the Keeper over the Pixie. We'll see. The Pixie could wheel. I think maybe it's good enough that it'll just be taken because there's nothing left in the pack or whatever. But here I'm looking at Keeper, Trapper Keeper. We got Trapped in the Tower, Keeper of Fables. I'm on Keeper, then Trapped. Then I might actually just at that point hedge to the Owl. If you end up, you know, just drop your first pick and see if the Owl gets you there. Yeah, Rimrock into Dwarf cutting red would be okay, but not spectacular 1-2 picks, to be honest. I don't want to take Dwarf's second pick if I can help it. Brian thinks Pixie is best card. You can argue, certainly if that was mono green, I would have taken it. You know, if it was just the same card, I mean, obviously mono green's not going to get a flyer, but even put it on the ground, you know, just make it a green 2-drop ramp creature, and I would probably take it. But the fact that it's blue was enough for me to go with Keeper. Another Dwarf. So someone who gets on the Dwarf train could be happy there. We have a Elder here. This is, I don't remember being very good. Vigilant. Gets +1/+1 for each color among permanents you control. For each color among permanents you control, add 1 of that color. So it's a 2/2 for 3 that taps for 2 mana. So, you know, we could take that. I mean, that's ramp, right? It's not great, but it's just kind of like a hard to cast. What's that mirror from M21? You know what I mean? Like, and if you get more colors, sure. But even at its baseline as a white-green card, it's decent ramp. So I think we take it, but I'm certainly not marrying it. And if you went down the red path and went Rimrock, Dwarf, that's an interesting start too. Charm Sleep, Yeah, Charm Sleep is the alternative here. If we thought that Pixie Wield, we could try being the blue-green deck. But I think the Elder here with our mono-green start is fine. Green-white Adventures is a real deck, too, and we already have one adventure, so maybe puzzle pieces for the adventure deck slide into place. Brian thinks Brute is OP. Disagree. I think it's highly playable. Maybe actively good, but I would not call it OP. Good might even be a little strong to me. It's like a solid playable in the right deck. How about that? My feeling on Brute is that if all you're ever doing is turning it sideways for unblockability and 1 point of damage, that's not good enough. But it does not take much to augment the Brute to get it to be quite the team player. Guide Mother here jumps out at me with where we've started, leaning into this white. I want to not marry the white, though, and make sure I'm not just taking it because we could take Charm Sleep again. I mean, Charm Sleep might be the best pick here. But Guide Mother does, I mean, this is a reasonable card we picked up. I guess I'm going to take the Sleep and try and listen. Yeah, Guide Mother is good if we get there. Dynamo just thinks it's the best card straight up. I think it's in competition with these two, and I think the removal spell is a little better than the Guide Mother, but this is where I'm... If we didn't have this, I would have already taken the Sleep. But the fact that we have a white card is what makes me want to consider the Guide Mother, and I guess I will. This is narrow choice for me, but I'll take the thing that pairs with our gold card. Yeah. Also, if you can launch a Beanstalk Giant with a Fairy Guide Mother, that's not the worst. I don't see Fires as a particularly amazing. Limited card, although it can't. The trouble is, it tends to it quote ramps out a couple of cards from your hand, but then it just doesn't do anything. So I'm going to take Trapped here, and we'll feel pretty good about that. Yeah, now let's take all the Guide Mothers because those of you unfamiliar with the format, Fairy Guide Mother, being able to give target creature +2/+1 and flying until end of turn, is an answer to a creature trapped in a tower. You just give your trapped creature flying, and the trapped in the tower falls off. So we got some ramp. What are we doing with it? I mean, keep her a turn early doesn't suck, but keep her 2 turns early especially doesn't suck. Shepherd, though, look at all these Charm Sleeps. We're just going to get everything put to sleep. Boy, now I kind of wish we took that Pixie and headed towards green-blue. But we do have a Shepherd of the Flock. It's perfectly good. Can even do things like return the Guide Mother to give something else flying. And yeah, and it saves us against all these sleeps. That's true. Can get some return to nature for the board. We'll stick to the plan. I'm a little sad about the blue going by, but we're getting hooked up with good white. So I'm a little more worried about the lack of green, like our green has been cut. Because this was pick 1, pick 2, and then pick 3 was a gold green card, but then we really haven't seen green since. Yeah, Halberd with a Brute, but now you're talking, Brian. Like I said, I'm not into the Brute as a card just to run without, I'm not running that card in the dark. And if a card is OP, it means every deck is running it every time happily that has the mana to cast it. Now, this is just not the case with that card. Sporecap Spider could help with pesky flyers. Shine Chaser, if we thought the green was drying up and that we were going to back into all this white-blue we're saying. I kind of want to hedge the Shine Chaser. There's this world in which that Arcanist Owl comes back around, and it shows that white-blue is wide open, and again, we haven't seen any good green. Sporecap Spider is not good green. This is not good red-black, really, either, unfortunately, and Bartered Cow isn't good white. So I'm going to take Shine Chaser, even though Shine Chaser also not great. Also not great. But if we end up in specifically white-blue, it's fine. Because at that point, we are going to try and play Charmed Sleeps and artifacts and everything. So it's not even great in white-blue, but it is absolutely playable if you are running the cards to support it, and the opportunity cost is just the Spore Cap Spider. So I'm taking the Shine Chaser on a little bit of a hedge here to see what comes around. Another Fires, someone could, and another, this is a pick 8, so this is a new Charmed Sleep. Wow. Because there's a Rider here, which is a solid enough green card. This is fine. But I continue to see these blue signals that are becoming harder and harder to ignore here. Two drops are important. Obviously, we want to get on board. Any thoughts from the Peanut Gallery on continuing this blue hedge? I don't think I can ignore this anymore. It's also the fact that there was no good green in the packs. I'm going to take Sleep because, again, the only cost is a Rider. If we end up in blue, if we pivot successfully and correctly to blue, that would be big game. On that front, we can take an Opt that fills in gaps. Prophet is also playable. We also can branch out into potentially 3-color with the Elder and the Beanstalk Giant. So we have some fixing as well. Oh, sorry. Yeah, I think that was from a different... I have chat off of the screen. Sorry to YouTube viewers who are wondering what chat is talking about. Let me get that back on. Thank you for that. I gotta find it. Chat box. There we go. All right, now if you chat, you should be seen. Hodder likes the Fires. How did you make it work? What were you doing to make the Fires a successful card? Forever Young still here is also a bit of a signal. Scavengers. I think this was the pack for the Owl, although maybe that would be... There's no way the Owl makes it. There's just not good enough stuff there. But it doesn't seem like people are interested in blue, so I do like taking the blue card over the colorless 6-drop. Don't know if people would just be on the colorless, but if we do end up blue, we'll be happy with that. True Love's Kiss, playable in best of 1 in the format. I'm going to grab it. Mantle of Tides, Deafening Silence, and Merfolk. Nothing great here, but again, blue seems wide open, so although I feel like this is classically one of those spots that, like, somebody just downstream from me also is going to get pulled into blue, and then we're going to be fighting over it from here or something. I mean, that's playable, if not good. Murderous Rider is a slap in the face open since we're nowhere near black, and it's one of the better cards you could open. And there's nothing really in the colors we do have. Like, if you like blue, green, or white, I got bad news for you. This is not the pack for us. Vision is interesting. Transformation. We could just take the Rider, yeah. Are we... How much of the hard way are we drafting? I think I'm confused. People want to take Rider. I mean, how do we cast that? Are you suggesting we're pivoting to black, or are you suggesting we hate pack 1, pick 1? I don't know. That's it. That's a stretch. That's a stretch. I think, no, we're going to let the black drafter fist pump. And a lot of good black in here. Yeah, we could take this rider. I'm a little bit lost. What is this table telling me to do? I'm trying to listen, table. I'm gonna go with the vision. Wandermare can point us back towards green-white, but Vantress Gargoyle is great in blue. I think we just take. I think we take the blue signal here. So now I just feel like we are trying to move in to be the blue drafter, and although I note that pixie is gone, somebody took all those charm sleeps. It's not like we're the only blue drafter here, but we're pivoting pretty hard. Who's passing to us now? Cardlinger. Hodge was passing to us in pack 1. Yeah, hopefully, at the very least, blue flows heavily in pack 3. If there are 4 blue drafters in this pod, it's only because it was so open in the first pack that a bunch of people moved in on it. Not loving this deck so far. Vantress Gargoyle is at least kind of a plan, you know, but Shepherd or So Tiny. Note the lack of green. I don't know, you tell me what to pick, Swag. If we take another Shepherd, we're kind of trying to bounce and blink stuff. Probably just want, yeah, another removal. Although we're not exactly doing a lot of mill, which is where So Tiny gets good. But yeah, I don't have a good plan yet. What I want is to find some flyers, other flyers that give us a plan, but we don't really have a plan yet. Other than removal, card draw, and win on attrition. So I will take this So Tiny here. Paladin could be the type of finisher we're looking for. It's not very good, though. You really need to be heavy blue, which we're heading toward, but I don't know if we're take Paladin here heading toward it over just like a prized Griffin. Boring, but if we are white-blue, you need some flyers to get there. Yeah, we might be 3 colors too. We could take a Paladin. But Griffin, again, doesn't ask much of us, so we'll take that. Yeah, Carriage seemed like it was fine. And thank you for that sub. Sometimes it shows up and is a reasonable card. I mean, it is you look at it, it's a magic card with power and toughness and does stuff. It's not useless. It's just so much lower down than we thought it was going to be, right? Interesting pack here. Another Shine Chaser. I think we do it. I think we take the Shine Chaser and we're just trying to be try to make some flyers and get there with them. Runaway Together is somewhat tempting as well. But with Charmed Sleep and Vantress Gargoyle and us on the lookout for maybe food production or other random artifacts, I think we should be able to get 3/3 Flying Vigilances out of our Shine Chasers. So we're going to try that. starting to look like a 2-color white-blue deck, and I'm really sad that that owl is gone now. Like Scaldron, probably the pick here over Jousting Dummy. Jousting Dummy is a generic 2, but Cauldron does the artifact trick for Shine Chaser while being removal in a pair that doesn't necessarily have a ton of it, or at least damage-based. So still don't love this deck, but at least it's starting to approach something that has a plan I could describe. Starting to. Wow, I have 18 texts waiting for me. My friends who have been married about as long as my wife and I have, and have been friends since college, reached out to say happy anniversary this morning, and they are big campers and hikers. A lot of opportunities for that stuff in the Pacific Northwest, and Margaret and I want to go on a day hike today. We're gonna, after I finish 7-0ing you all, I'm gonna get in the car with the wife and go someplace to walk amongst beauty. Sage of the Falls seems reasonable. Needs some creatures. Does some stuff. But anyway, there's a conversation going on with our friends recommending where we should go. And it's almost 20 texts long now, so I got some catching up to do. Yeah, let's get the Sage here. The theme this week should be listed in the panels now, but it was D&D character creation. Didn't say please here is going to be, I think, better than a Thunderous Snapper because we're heavily leaning towards the white-blue side of town now. So let's get a didn't say please over that. I'll save that one for the wife, Collie. When I say things like that, Margaret calls it the bag of suave. That I've opened the bag of suave. Yeah, that's why one of the reasons we're asking our experienced camping friends is they go out and hike a lot these days, so they'll be on top of what's open and what's not. Yeah, this pack is not good. Maybe we take a fell so they can't. Oh, nobody's going to main deck that, I don't think. We'll take a Beloved Princess, or we can start gacking stuff. We could also just take a Foreboding Fruit. I don't really want to play a Beloved Princess. So I'm going to hate draft a little bit. There's a world in which we could play that too as more card draw, but I think we're going to get enough card draw in blue here. Wandermare comes all the way back. Wow. I mean, I guess we could take it, and then it's possible pack 3 sends us into a some sort of Bant adventure. The other thing we'd be taking is a generic 3. I think I take the Wandermare over the generic 3 in case we 3-color this thing. And here's that generic 3 anyway. Well, we're going to take Return to Nature. If we do end up any kind of green, that would be nice for the sideboard. Prized Griffin, Unexplained Vision. Okay, at least we seem to be in the right place. Now, do you think we need a second Griffin or a second Vision? Got a few seconds for this. I think I'm on Griffin, right? I think we can, like, the card draw is generally pretty available. So let's shore up some sort of way to win this game. Gilded Goose could be a thing we take to support Bant, but then we're back towards heavy green if we take the Goose. We could still do it. We could even be, at this point, like green, blue, splash some white stuff. I don't know. Green did look so closed, but what else is there here for us? Like, what's we could take a Venerable Knight if we just want to get on board fast, but I don't think that's really our plan. Like, we're not trying to just get you with knights, you know? Razor thinks if I go Bant, it'll cost me my hair. Kind of want to show that that's not true. Not true. We don't have a ton of adventures. We might come up with some, but we are low on adventure time, that's for sure, for if you're looking at Clover. Yeah, that's a thing. Goose is fixing, Stock is fixing, Elder is fixing. I'm going to take the Goose. I still think we could end up in, like, so you could take an Acolyte here, and we could do, I think we might have the best deck if we stretch our mana a bit. Secret Keeper. This is a first Secret Keeper, whatever. I'm going to take Acolyte and focus on casting all our stuff. Yeah, this is very unusual for Eldraine, for sure, but we are getting the green cards to support it. Maybe. We might abandon the Chasers. It depends on how much, whether or not we're playing the tools to make them 3/3s. Obviously, Goose is a hedge towards actually being 8 plus green sources. See, and then we get another chance at a Pixie. Dance of the Manse is interesting. Might, but I don't think we're doing enough of this. I mean, we have some non-aura enchantment cards, but no, we're not going to dance. I don't think we have the dance tools. The dance card is empty. You would just trap. I get it. I would like removal as well. But we do have a trapped. We have a Charmed Sleep, and we have a Cauldron, and we have a need to fill out our 2s and cast our spells. I'm going to take the Marleaf Pixie and really zoom in on base green, white, splashing, or base green, blue, splashing some white, and we'll see what white we splash. Funny. This has been a weird draft. Yeah, this has got to be in the board. This doesn't count. This isn't going to be a thing we splash for. Curious Pair could provide some artifact. We're splashing. We could just take Escape to the Wilds and know that we don't want to run a mountain, but Goose and Elder could and Rosethorn could splash the Escape. Grumgully also a consideration on that same thing. Can we just splash the red? Fox is a bit on plan, but if we're trying to splash the white now, it's I'd rather almost have a Rider. That's true. Elder does not create red. Thank you. So, given that, I think we should just take Rider or Curious Pair. And Fireborn Knight, you want this knight? I don't know what knight, or you're talking about this knight or this knight. I think I want the Rider. Another Wandermare that we could consider. Scorching Dragonfire. Maybe red. Somehow red was the seat? I mean, We're not near the Dragonfire now. The question is, are we Wandermare or So Tiny? I still don't think we're there on adventures. We have 1, 2. I guess we have some. Whatever. I'm going to get crazy. That's true. This is another, but really it's the artifacts now that we're short on, not the enchantments. A lot of people want the So Tiny. At this point, I kind of want to risk my hair and just be really greedy. Yeah, there's a Ginger Brute. I don't know. That's not where I want a Ginger Brute, though. That's true. It does turn on. The Ginger Brute is an artifact, but at that point, we just want another Didn't Say Please. And I'll take a Tiny. Let's survive. Charm Sleep. Clockwork Servant. I think we just want another Sleep. And a lot of these artifacts that we can't... I mean... Yeah, Wandermare doesn't need much to be okay. To be efficient. I'm just going to take Charm Sleep, though. Possible we just end up cutting the white here. I mean, Corridor Monitor. We keep stumbling on artifacts that could help with these Shine Chasers or whatever, but I'm not. I mean, I'm just going to take another Pixie. What a weird deck. This might be the weirdest Eldraine deck I've drafted. All hail human drafting for the weirdness. Golden Egg here is Artifact, is Fixing, is Shine Chaser if we want to do that. Halberd is interesting because it's Artifact. Yes, and we do have these pixies that would wear a Halberd quite nicely, really. Steel Gaze, the Sleazy Griffin is also interesting. I like the Halberd, though, since we've pivoted back towards somewhat aggro green. Strange draft, but yeah, let's take that. Now we get an outflank, and this Venerable Knight comes all the way back, but we're no longer there. I think we just take an Opt here. Kind of a weird, what a weird deck. Egg was definitely in consideration. Then I became enamored with Flying Goose and Gargoyles and stuff. But we're not, I don't think we're going to be 3-color, really. We'll see. We might be. I'm thinking we're more towards 2 with an aggro bent. Maybe even take a turtle here. Turtle making Keeper of Fables unblockable. I'm in. We're doing it. That wheeled, said somebody about something. A lot of stuff wheeling in this one. Can even take a Mantle of Tides if we wanted to consider that the shine stuff, but I think we may be closing in on green, blue, very light white splash, maybe for a Trapped or some extra flyers. Let's see, if we just cut the white entirely, what does it look like around here? I mean, that's a deck right there, right? So we could just say no white. This is good enough. I mean, there's now some splash tools that aren't very exciting. Rosethorn doesn't do much. How many creatures? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 9, 10, 11, 12. Only 12 creatures in this build. Trouble with splashing the chasers is what are they... Where's the artifacts that we're getting? We have Halberd and Cauldron. Gilded Goose makes some food. Vantress Gargoyle is an artifact. So 4 artifacts. Yeah, we can probably just run this main in this format. I think you're right about not bothering with the appetite. Do that. Yeah, but this isn't good equipment. Do we want this? I mean, second, I guess we can run 1. We have the 2 ops to equip it generally for free, but we'd be doing that, what? To turn on Shine Chasers that I don't even want to splash? Ramp to Beanstalk Giant. And yeah, that's the thing. You say ramp to nothing, and I get what you're saying. The Rosethorn is weak because of that, but consider the tap to add mana just a bonus on a 2/2 flyer for 2 for this deck. And then it's not about necessarily ramping to anything. It's about getting sideways. I just am not sure here that Mantle is our tool. 3 mana, 3/3 Vigilance flyers are not bad, but how often are they going to be that? What percentage of the time are we going to be casting Shine Chasers on 3 as 3/3s? More likely we're going to be creating 2/2s on turn 5, which is like much worse. And it hurts our mana. Like if these tapped for, if these were more Goose-like, sure. Yeah, this is a very weird draft. Not loving the deck, of course, because of that, but also we could have done a lot worse. Yeah, but we need them, especially like I'm inclined to go 2 color here. I guess I should look at here. Let me export this. This needs to be much higher. 9/8 seems correct. So let's export. Oh, and there's 24, so I'd have to cut 1. I'm going to cut this Mantle in this case. So this would be the 2 color deck. And let's Gauntlet 2C. All right. And then now if we were to add the white, what does that even look like? I already don't like it. Yeah, this I don't even like it. Whatever, I'm not even gonna do it. Like we're just gonna go with green, white, and with the extra stuff added to the board, that should be fine. Anybody choose bling? Basic lands from Fluffy, unstable. Let's go deck building. Kind of wanted an extra couple of flyers. That could be a reason to splash just a touch of white, but I'm not quite there yet. But it could be like cut 2 ops, add 2, just 2 dummy old, oh, it's not showing, it's in our sideboard. These prized griffins, you know, just a couple of prized griffins, especially with a keeper, could be correct here. Yeah, I think I like cut 2 ops. Bring in 2 griffins. And now we run 1 plains, and we have Beanstalk, Rosethorn, and Gilded Goose, and the natural plains draw as 4 outs to casting griffins. Don't love it. Don't love it, but I'm thinking we do need a little more on the creature side and a little more on the, you know, the creatures that can win the game side. Yeah, it's not good for the curve, though, because we're talking about splashing. I don't want to splash. Yeah, but the Guide Mother, it's not really a 2-for-1 in this deck. It's not. You're not really doing what you want with it. Too hard on the mana for what it does. Just Skip the Splash has been called. Can I make a copy of this? Actually, here, I should do this. Oh, I didn't get those lands added. I want to clone this, though. And make a Prize Griffin version. Actually, maybe I should then copy this. Let's see. You wanted these, right? So one of those. Yeah. One of those. And one of those. Quick suggest. Down, down, up, like that. 881 in that case, and call this 3C. Actually, what I'm going to do is delete this one. Now, clone this, and call this 2C, and kill the splash in this one. Bring back the 2 ops, cut the griffins, and increase the islands. Call that done. All right. Oh yeah, we didn't name it. Gauntlet 2C is pretty boring. Yeah, whatever. Boring. I want to play. Who's first? Cardlinger. Best of 1, here we go. Let's get to Battlefield Right. Let's get our info updated. Well, thank you for the host magic. Appreciate that. Any chance I could get on your survey next time? Speaking of, If you want to give me a shout out on the WotC survey, I'm going to link you to that. There's a what streamers do you watch question, and I am unfortunately a write-in candidate instead of I didn't make the ballot, but hopefully you all will write me in. Cardlinger, you around? I'm gonna skip you. Gonna find somebody else who's ready to battle. Jank in the Tank is raring to go, I bet. Well, come up with a good one. I'll switch it. I was just blanking and didn't want dead air. So Tron, you come up with a great Pixie's name. Oh, I see. Here. That's good. Here Comes Your Mana is good. I'm with you. I'll change it to that before, if you remind me before the end. I'm gonna start on 2-color though. I'm gonna start on 3-color. All right, I'm gonna risk a par poll on hair loss day. See what y'all think. How many times I'm gonna win? Well, we can keep this. We got Rose Thorn for fixing, So Tiny for removal. Ooh, I suppose I should have put the island out. I didn't think there would be anything I would So Tiny on turn 1, but I actually would have So Tinied that red cap, but now I want to play the Pixie. Uh-oh. Hated passing all that Dragonfire action. I'm just going to play the Acolyte, hard cast it. We will see, possibly even trade red cap plus a pump. We're not really ramping to anything here. It does provide fixing for our flyers though. So I'll let this happen. If they want to, if Cardlinger wants to spend the turn pumping, that's cool. There's that dwarf count we saw. I'm gonna go. We have Charm Sleep and So Tiny here. We just don't have any action beyond that. The question is, do we need to, given these cards? I kind of want to hold the sleep and see what they do. If we sleep the dwarf, it still increases the size. Both of these on dwarf still let the other dwarfs get big, so I'm a little reticent to do that. I'm gonna pass here. We have So Tiny at instant speed to shrink down one of them. Only sending the red cap, so no out muscles, unfortunately. This has the potential to get to 5 power. We could. What I actually kind of like doing here is, no, that's just 2-for-1ing ourselves. I was gonna say we could block with the Acolyte, and then So Tiny forces a second activation, but then they just do that, and Cardlinger does that, and then we just 2-for-1 ourselves. So that's no good. But also the Rose Thorn holding off the 7 dwarves is a good sign. I'm gonna say pass and see if Cardlinger wants to pump. And with that, now I was gonna So Tiny anyway, but now that the pump has been invested in, well, actually let the first one happen. Maybe it'll go again. It's still a big smack, but at least that's all the entire turn is taken up by this move. And Scavengers is nice for next turn. Or even this turn, like, we can just bounce the dwarves, I suppose. I forgot we had ramp there. So let's go ahead and bounce the dwarves and get our scavengers going. We do have one main deck naturalize effect, I believe, right? Oh, good game. GG. Untapped.gg not helping me out with my deck list. Beanstalk Giant is nice too. We could, of course, go fetch a land, but we can also just hard cast the 7-drop. Oh no, they're not. Thank you. I am willing to do emotes on Gauntlet Day. Yeah, I'm just gonna go ahead and make a big giant here. Although, man, it is tempting to get the planes, especially if the Acolyte dies and we find our Griffins. But also getting them dead quickly helps. I'm gonna do it. I changed my mind. I'm gonna go get the planes. Yeah, I don't want to concede an accident. Not on Hair Day. Well, this is now a pretty easy block for me, actually. So Tiny held this off for a little bit, but now I'm going to make Cardlinger either use a card from hand or double pump, and then we still trade, and then we're going to have 2 big creatures for him to contend with. Yeah, play that out. We got card draw. Passed a lot of great black, only seeing 1 swamp from Cardlinger. Now I'm expecting a bake. Yep. I'm gonna go Rider, and maybe we just do Charm Sleep now. There comes a point where, in order to defeat the Revenge, we need to prevent... we need to have enough attacks left in us to prevent the damage. So I'm gonna go ahead and Charm the Dwarf. That holds off the Riders, but we do get to attack with the Scavengers, and then Sage is nice defense. Honestly, Luis doesn't stream all that much. I think you're talking about the Luis not being on the list of streamers that you can indicate. I mean, I think they are just going for people who stream regularly and have a long list. Sure. Self-mill. I didn't think he streamed that much. I also am not sure how Wizards decides what they want to put on that list anyway. Scry 2 is going to be interesting here. Let's see what Cardlinger does with the top 2 cards. So CFB is effectively, if you watch Luis, pick CFB, right? Well, we'll save this in hopes that we loot it away with the Sage. Right now, Oppo has a total of 4 points of power, and we've got a 5 power, 5 toughness attacker. I'm gonna keep sending the scavengers, but leave everything else back. If Cardlinger has instant speed red removal in hand, this could go poorly for us, but looks like that went okay. Wouldn't mind one of those griffins now. Oh. Wouldn't mind our enchantment hate now. Got the griffin. Look, when I called for the griffin, it was before I knew there was going to be a second revenge, okay? So now, now we take 2 to deal 1. Okay, good. That's going to be nice because we get some life. Great. Fantastic. I'll decline now. I don't want to actually... I was joking around, but I don't want to actually accidentally mill ourselves. Normally, when a loot is actually just a self-mill, I kind of do it for laughs because it doesn't matter to me. You know, statistically, it doesn't really matter, but it does matter if you have graveyard recursion or a possibility of losing to to decking. So now, with the food, I suppose I can just start attacking with a griffin because we're going to gain 3 a turn, right? Oh, I can't attack with a griffin because it's summoning sick, though. But I could attack, though, with the scavengers, though, is what I'm saying, right? Same situation here, so I'm going to do it. This goose became huge. We need this goose to live so badly. We need to gain 3 a turn or we can't win this game. I'm gonna start eating. One point at a time, folks. 1 point at a time for now. Well, we get 1 more, and now that's trouble. Big trouble. Double revenge. Now we need our enchantment removal or we're in serious trouble. And even then, I don't know how we win here. They're at 21, we're at 19, so we're not winning on that axis. I think we're opening on a loss here. Very up against it at the very least. I mean, that's ostensibly the kind of thing that would help. I suppose a second Griffin and then into our enchantment or our removal. And okay, that's interesting too. We can kill one of the blockers potentially on the 4/5. But basically, if we kill the revenge, we get 4 more attacks, right? And 4 more attacks, so 2 griffins twice at 2 points each is enough to win, so that's our plan. Yeah, we would kill the lifelinker at a time, you know. Yeah, 3 attacks, so, right. No, well, we are at 5, right? And if they have one of these, I counted 4 attacks, right? Because we go to 1. So there's we got our return to nature. And here's 1, 2 of our attacks. We are showing lethal. Not a surprising attack. We're going to go here. Actually, we'll go here and here. And even here, but we're going to use Cauldron on the lifelinker. Barge in on the red cap would be rough. But I don't... Can we beat Barge in? I don't think we can beat Barge in, so it is what it is. Oh, now that's interesting. But... I think we can still do this. Now we take out the red cap. We let them go to 5, but we still have 2 attacks and we can get in for the 5. We just have to accept this lifelink now. Or actually, let me do the math. 2/2, this becomes 6. Yeah, that tramples and keeps us from being able to do it, so we have to kill the red cap. Now we go to 3. And now 2 attacks for 7 is enough for Xaxes. Woo! Oh yeah, baby.
I do my hair toss, check my nails. Baby, how you feeling?
Did not think we were going to come back from that one, but found our line, and then the magic gods delivered us exactly what we needed. We needed everything we found. We needed the cauldron. We needed the griffin. We needed the enchantment removal. Oh my goodness, that was tight. Oh man, who made me that meme? See, this is why I need to make, I have to make credits for my memes, because then I feel badly for, like, now I can't remember who made, I tightened it up. So the first, that was Duncan? The first version of it was zoomed out, and I zoomed in on my head for that, so. Oh yeah, deck name, thanks Tron, we'll do that. Yours was good. And I think, you know, you see why those griffins were worth splashing. I mean, it's not an incredible splash, not some bomby splash, but we need some plan to win, and the griffins kind of gave us that. Yeah, Sage of Fables was required to find all that stuff, so me arbitrarily deciding to self-mill worked out. Because it got us one closer to all that stuff. Anyway, very close Cardlinger. That was a heck of a game. Really thought you had us, and then came up with, it was like, okay, well, if we get this, this, and this, we can pull this off. And then we got that, that, and that. It was just like... Here Comes Your Man? What am I confusing it with? The I'm confusing it. I'm conflating it with Velvet Underground. Waiting for my man. record. No, I never got around to updating my record. Sorry. We are 1-0. Next up, let me check my list. Jank in the tank. New kid on the block. Let's see if the name is accurate. Which one did I choose? Now I don't know if I chose. Oh, I didn't choose yet. That's why. Here we go. Let's do the 3 again. Oh, nope. I didn't want to double click it. Just want to choose it. Whatever, my hair's safe. You can make fun of my deck all you want now. Bantron on 3 with a ramper? Sure. Hey man, leggings. Weirdo draft with a medium deck at best, but we got our 1 win, so at the very least my hair is safe on the week. Now I'm going to see if I can end my losing streak. Oh, here's where I want to turn off pets without turning off the ability to talk. Man leggings, you new around here. We run a lot of memes here. That was our meme for the Curious Pair. Well, I had been thinking of Marleaf Rider, but that just trades with Curious Pair in a way I don't like. I'm going to go with Wishful Merfolk instead, at least have some defense. Yeah, it's just like making all these electric noises. Go away, electric dog. Let's go ahead and drop our Acolyte here. I know you're not new man leggings, but surprised you're surprised by sweet memes. Yep, we can vision with Adamant next turn, even with the 2 islands and the Acolyte. Do we want to, though? We also have Pixie, hold up. I like Pixie, Rider, hold up, Tiny. Yeah, I could Scavenger next turn if even if we don't find a land. Although we don't have an enchantment out yet. Now we will, though, because I'm certainly going to tiny up that Paladin. Although maybe it's not even good enough. I suppose eventually it will, like, turning it into a 3/5, not that great. But a 3/5 actually does become something we can double block and have 1-for-1. Interesting. I want to hear stories about Parliament. I want to go back to the 70s and see see Parliament live. Vanilla Ice meme? I gotta find it.
To the extreme, I rock a mic like a vandal. Light up a stage and wax a chump like a candle. Dance!
I like playing against chat because they tolerate my delays here. Let's see. I do want to use this So Tiny and go into Moonlight Scavengers, which probably means I'm just going to maybe So Tiny the suit and bounce the Paladin, just set him back. Although 4/5, yeah, never mind. I'm going to So Tiny the Paladin because the 4/5 actually bricks, bounces off the Paladin at that point. Whereas a 5/5 still ends up killing something. So let's go So Tiny on the Paladin. And then Scavengers the suit. No attacks though. Blue, green, splashing a couple of flyers. That's it. Just a couple of boring 5 mana flyers to give us some extra ways to win the game. Paladin comes in here. I'm gonna offer maybe, I don't know, that's be like a 3-for-1 at this point. I think with the turtle coming, I'll just take a hit from the Paladin. Oh, turtle can't block the Paladin, though. All right, at least Paladin didn't even bother attacking. I'm going to play the island out so we can vision without having to tap either of our mana dudes and still get the Adamant. And I'm going to see what these cards have to offer us before I decide the rest of my turn. Wow, all right. We're going to go this. Oops. And this, and I think the Didn't Say Please is going to be okay for us here. But we do need, I guess we can throw the halberd down so that the turtle can block the Paladin. So yeah, let's keep the Didn't Say Please, bin the other 2. And could even go like halberd just on the merfolk, and then it's sitting here threatening to trade. You just like making a big flyer. I mean, maybe we can just get there on flyer and racing in the air with the flyer is going to be fine. I just don't want to lose on the ground to this stuff. And also keep in mind they're at a virtual 26. 26 is pretty big life total to chunk away. And keep in mind, I mean, this is equipment. We can move it. It's 5 mana, but guess what? We got nothing but mana unless we draw spells from here. So I like halberd on something that we're willing to trade off for the Paladin for now, and then move it to the Pixie later. So I'm going to start with a Pixie attack. And just halberd onto the merfolk. I mean, I can literally move this next turn if we decide that's correct. I feel like threatening the Paladin here is worth 2 points of damage. Still sending, so obviously we're going to call. I mean, that was the point of my play. The attack makes me think we're going to trade for something in hand as opposed to the Paladin, but that's fine too. Unfortunately, it became a 2-for-1 with the return to nature there. And Didn't Say Please ends up being a little bit late for us. We do get to DSP from here. But we have no attacks. And really no blocks. Malevolent Noble. Ugh. This can actually get pretty nasty on this board. A lot of stuff to sack. But do we care? Because, let's see, this has to get to like 5 power before it can attack through a turtle, which means it needs to sack 3 other things. But it is artifact, and they can just sacrifice the food, which is pretty easy. If it weren't for the artifact sack, I think I would let this go. But the fact that they can make it big off of just the food means I have to counter. 23 to 23, if that ends up mattering. Right now it's not going to, but hopefully we find something else for the paladin. Got a charmed sleep. Getting more cards in their graveyard, just shrinking it down would be fine. Or that's fine too. Let's see. Almost can get it all done. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We tap these 3 to go to 6, but we find a land, and with the land we can cast the 7. So yeah, we can actually do both sides of this. By my count. I know that I didn't have to go to the 70s to see them at all. I'm just saying, like, if you could pick a moment in time to catch P-Funk, I think the 70s is where you want to be, right? Correct to thin. Well, it does make the giant bigger, so there's that. But a fair question. If we knew we had lands at the bottom, multiple lands at the bottom, how does getting one actually, quote, thin the deck? It doesn't at that point, right? But it does make the giant bigger. And we can get to the point where if we can somehow protect the turtle, or you know, we basically have 8 unblockable damage right now with the turtle. Charmed sleep. Charmed indeed. I think, though, we want to... Well, with the Scaldron, now charming the spider doesn't make a lot of sense. Now I'm more on the team giant. How can we get there on giant? So 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. If we were to sleep the suit, it would take everything they've got to trade for the giant. We don't have the food for that. If we wait a little bit more, if we find just another land or two, then I think we should be patient, though. But it's not a one-sided board wipe. They would have the 8 power, but to kill our 8 toughness, but we have 8 power to deal to 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 5, 10, 13. So we would take out what, like paladin and pair, and leave the spider, and then, or we have to kill the spider. Yeah, see, I don't like it yet. Yeah, we could pin down the paladin. It does clear the way for Pixie, but the trouble is then Pixie dies to the Cauldron, but they have to use that on the 8/8, right? So 1, 4, 5, 6. I guess it does clear the way for the Pixie. I hear you, Hat, but this is a pivotal point. We got to decide the right line here, because our choice is either be patient, completely wait, and try to get a better line in the future, or accept offering Jank and the Tank a lot of their resources for the Beanstalk Giant in a way that then does free up the Pixie to attack. So, no, they can't. Double D says they just gang block and use Cauldron on the Pixie anyway. The idea is we sleep the suit, so their power to deal 8 to the giant is Spider 1, Paladin 3, Pair 5, and Cauldron 8, right? So now they have to use the Cauldron on the giant to kill it, and then the Pixie starts getting in for 2 a turn. That's the idea. And we have more flyers in the deck. So I've talked myself into being aggro. Now, I like this line. Also, I like the observation that in order for them to take out the giant, they have to also reduce their paladin to 0. Yeah, they also have to do everything exactly correctly here. Took a long time to puzzle that one out, but this is a critical decision point on whether or not we're putting our giant at risk and whether making this offer is worth it. Because also our hand is empty, so Jank in the tank cards are literally on the table here. All right, so Jank's going into Abyss mode, which is good for us too. More pairs. Give you some more memes. Goose, not the worst, and we're in the same spot here where we've got we got even better attacks. So now we can start distracting with the pixie as well. If they want to block, they can. Now they don't even have the tools to kill the turtle though, so gets really good with the turtle and the beanstalk giant here. Now we kind of even like they could trade cauldron plus blocks for the turtle, but again, if they do that, we're in great shape, right? So we're going to offer that up. Could also have goosed, made a food, and used the rider to force a block, but I don't think we need to do that yet. I can't remember really ever running this card, and I don't really remember anybody beating me with it too often. I do remember seeing it here and there, but in this weird green-blue build we've got, it's doing some reasonable work. Now we got our plan that I'll try to play at a little bit better of a pace. We do have the ability to force a block with the rider, but all it would be is a trade for the curious pair. That doesn't seem super exciting to me. I'm just going to send Beanstalk and Pixie. Yeah, we could force Maraleaf on pair, but what do we get out of that? I could make another. I could make. I could do that. They do have a chump with the paladin anyway. Yeah, we could force block this and force the chump on the spider, but it's not really a forced chump because they have a virtual 9 extra life. They're at a virtual 17 here, so I'm just gonna continue to pile on with the 2, or really just the 1 even right now. This food represents too much life. They're not actually close to dead. We've got looting, so I'm going to hold lands now. It does make the giant bigger, though, so there's that. I don't know. We have conflicting needs, but 8/8, 9/9, not really that different, really. So 4, 5, 6 has a lot of chumps in it, right? Well, no, let's see. If damage will be dealt to Oathsworn Knight, well, it has prevent that damage and remove A. Yeah, so this can just chump the Beanstalk Giant a bunch. No, isn't it just one? If damage will be dealt while it has a counter, prevent that damage Oh, right. Sure. You're talking about because it has to attack. Right. But so that's good. So then they only get one chump opportunity there, but it's a nice one. It just nullifies the whole thing. I'm going to leave the food tokens because we have the rider that could actually end up being a full-on lure, lure team effect if we wait. Ooh, that's interesting too. Charmed Sleep. Yeah, we could also just start blocking with the Beanstalk, but I'd rather race. I mean, I don't want to sit here blocking this each turn. I would rather just attack as a 3/3 or whatever, and we attack as an 8/8. We can charm it to sleep too, though. I kind of like charming the spider, and then our pixie can get in. Yeah, it looks like a lot less visual distraction. Ask Media. Media really had issues with that background. So if anybody can identify its improvement, it would be Media. But they did change it though, right? You can see the difference. Feels different to me. Less sparkly. Ah, well. Fun while it lasted. Now we got to find some other ways to win. And now do we throw like the rose thorn in front or anything in front? I'm going to say no. We just take it once here and then try to figure out a new plan for the night. I mean, we're gaining 3 a turn off the goose. And I am going to start eating some food now. $18 to $17 on library count. Still looking for our looter and still willing to pixify here. I mean, at this point, I'm going to be content to take 3 from the knight, eat 3 from my food, and swing in with the pixie, and hope they run out of food before we do. That's plan A on this board. Really, the question, my fundamental question now is, am I doing anything about the knight? Do we want to reduce its power, get some counters off of it, or are we just goosing to offset it? And I'm kind of on goose to offset right now because Acolyte is just a chump and Rider gets... both of these just get straight up eaten by this, and I just don't want to do that when we're mitigating it just fine with our life gain. Yeah, so Razor points out, if we can get this down to a 2/2, then the Acolyte just starts eating it until it's gone. And maybe we should do that so that it's gone before Jank finds something to make this harder to deal with. But I also like Rider as eat food and force blocks cracking back the other way, so I'm not willing to give up the Rider yet, given that we have this mitigating factor of a goose literally gaining 3 a turn to offset the 3 we're taking. mean, we can. With the double food, they're at a virtual 16. I don't feel the need to, like... drawing nothing but land, not helping here, of course. So the suggestion is, hey, we can just attack all. Let's attack all. Let's you know, they block the rider, and then we get in for 4. Is that worth it though? Maybe that's fine. We don't even need to activate the food. I'm just trying to see if we can't get rid of the pair. Without giving up the rider, but all right, let's just send. I'll send all except the goose, of course. It does increase the clock and says, "What do you want to do about this?" I am expecting that card is a land. I bet it's a sandbagged land. Maybe not. We'll see. We do have card draw. I'm not going to hold this many lands. We have card draw and we have looting, so that's where I'm trying to figure it out here. Wow, Sorcerer's Broom, hyper annoying. Although only 1 food right now, but it's going to mean a couple of brooms. Still sticking to the plan. We're likely to draw something not land at some point. You know, I mean, at some point, we just run out of lands in the deck. But not yet. I swear I put spells in here. Anybody seen my spells? So we got 12 of our 17, 5 and 14 as pointed out. It's not actually not that unlikely for us to draw land again. Yeah, we've got gargoyle blocks to consider. It's all interesting stuff here. Come on, just not land. Come on, deck. Something we can do. Hey, called Keeper. Very good. I want to leave up, didn't say please mana. So I think we cast like this, and then we can see where it goes. Double Pixie seems all right. Well, we haven't seen anything yet for that knight to punish our Keeper block, so I'm absolutely going to block with Keeper. Keeper even has attacks here as well into 4 points of power with 5 toughness. And the Oathsworn can now be knocked down by the Acolyte, so we're going to send. Griffin, I'm in. Looks good for us here. No, it's not a trap card. It's legit. Sometimes you just need, you know, a 2-1 for 2 as a curve filler is not the worst. I mean, I play Jousting Dummy with very little upside beyond that. And then, and it's hard to get going, but as a baseline 2-1 for 2, it's acceptable for curve filling. And then if you do get it going, it can be surprising. Yeah, I've gone off with it here and there, but mostly it's a 2-1 for 2 that if the game goes long, gets you a little extra value. All right. I'm going to rehair meme you because why not?
I do my hair toss, check my nails. Baby, how you feeling?
Yeah, no kidding, Jank. You would done quite well with a goose there. You'd have made 1 million brooms. Good game. We went in the serious tank. Speaking of jank in the tank, we had Ryan in the tank at one point in that game, but that was a critical turn. We're trying to figure out whether to offer you that that giant, give you, because there was like we had no cards in hand, and we did give you the opportunity to kill the giant, trying to decide if letting you use all your resources on that giant was going to be acceptable. Decided it was. And then you decline. Clearly agreeing with us. Next up, we have Mr. Grim Pac-Man. I can't seem to beat the Pac-Man. Maybe this is my day. Hey, first turn Goose, second turn Halberd, or second turn Pixie Halberd. I like it. Jinx rooting for the chat team. I'm trying to break a losing streak of 3 weeks. Got a good start on it. Oh, interesting. Kind of like Pixie, no Halberd here, because if they do have removal, I mean, the Goose needs food to get the mana, so it's not like we're, quote, wasting mana, because we only have the 1 food anyway, so I'm going to wait till next turn and Halberd up the Pixie potentially next turn. Yeah, we might just do Vision next turn. Point is, not going to do the Halberd now. Pac-Man likes the Brute. And there you go. As I've said, I'm into the Brute if you augment it, not so much if you don't. In this case, we could take the trade here. We could just trade Pixie for Ginger Brute, but now I'm liking Return to Nature the Brute and Halberd up the Pixie or something, and then we'll reload after that. So we're going to just take this one. Return the Brute to Nature. And Halberd up. You can even Halberd up the Goose. But really, eventually the Goose is going to want to crank out food. So let's just go, let's make our Pixie a nice clock. Three toughness sets us up to potentially get burned out of the sky, but we're going to make Oppo come up with that. And if we want the Adamant, we need to tap Pixie for mana. But we can also just scavengers and bounce Grumgully. I suppose we could do that next turn. I think I like attack with Pixie, draw 3, and don't worry about Adamant, and then next turn scavenge, and that's going to be very good. So I want to keep attacking with 4 power in the air is the bottom line. Like, denying 4 damage in the air just so we can scry 3 doesn't seem worth it. We already have our plan. We don't need to scry. We need to attack. Now, if I do this, we don't have the extra mana next turn to scavenge. So there is a world in which we don't do, but I still would rather have the 3 cards here. I'm in for the 3 cards. The Brute is back. Okay, cool. Actually, I hardly ever do this too, but we actually get to use the Rose Thorn ability. I like Sleep the Spider and keep racing. And then we sleep like one of these 2 after that. Could also just scavengers here. We have the Rose Thorn that would allow for the bounce. It just means we take a turn off of Pixieing. I don't think I want to do that. Let's get some blue mana. And charm the spider. Could take a turn off attacking to cast the Acolyte. I could also just attack, though, and make food, and still be pretty decent on the race with another sleep ready. So I'm going to do that. Let's see. I don't think we can lose here. There is a +5/+5 pump if you have the food, but even that's not enough. So we're gonna, and yeah, we can't make and eat. So we're just gonna. Ooh, got to charm that to sleep too. Looks like. Maybe we just bounce that though. Okay. That allows us to scavenge without having to tap our Pixie, and creates a lovely blocker. Of course, the Brute can still get through, but this is a nice tempo play here for us. Gonna do this. Puts it on Pac-Man to deal with the Pixie now, or have to use the Ginger Brute to not die. Yeah, getting an early vision to refill was nice. I mean, we drew a couple of lands, but you know, everybody's going to draw a couple of lands. We just got to plow through it extra fast. That's not enough. Right now, Pac-Man is on Eat Food. And So Tiny is really nice. That is probably going to work together with Charmed Sleep and the Goose for mana to keep us good here. So again, that's great for us. Suggests that Pac-Man is in desperation mode, and I like holding the So Tiny for the Rider. Only 2 cards in the yard, so Tiny is only -2. We could also just charm sleep now and still have the so tiny. Why don't we do that on the rider? That way, if there's any nonsense with this forced block, and we don't fall for that. Exploding planeswalker. Oh no, they got some food. Yeah, everybody's got a food coma going on here, Jinx. Still has the mana to eat, so not dead. I'm just gonna make food rather than cash in the tiny now. Let's get some more food going. Sage seems pretty nice. Pac-Man is only mostly dead, it is true. I am gonna send the Pixie though, and then figure things out from there. I don't see a win here. Pac-Man at a virtual 6. We don't have anything to tap, you know. Yeah, so I'm just gonna send Pixie. And auto tap looks good on the Sage. Sure, maybe something better than So Tiny will come around. Do we like Cauldron? Nah, not over So Tiny. I mean, I guess it does get Grumgully or whatever, but So Tiny we can use effectively before we untap, so we're gonna keep our So Tiny available. That's true. It does get face. Oh no, this doesn't get face. Doesn't get face. If that's what you're talking about. Maybe you meant something else. Creature faces. Pac-Man looking for an out. We are looking for hold, hold, hold. Yeah, sounds like people are suggesting you're conflating it with Springjaw, which makes sense, more recent. Wow, what a timely transformation. Yeah, we still get Halberd on Goose, but timely. They can draw a card, maybe they find some more food. But right now we're just moving the equip over to the Goose and still getting in for 2. Let's see what happens here. That, I don't think, stops that. And I guess So Tiny. It doesn't matter. Why? Let's not do that. We don't need to do that. I'm gonna figure we've got this. If we don't, I want the other stuff back on D anyway. Yeah, so I was only gonna send the Goose because if it was something to prevent lethal, then we could have. I wanted defense. I didn't want to lose on the way back. All right, notched another one. I'm closing in on winning my week. Hey, upkeep, going all right. Having a good start to the Gauntlet this week. And Fantasia is the next person to try and keep me from my goals on the day. Well, I did 7-0 chat once and used it to save my eyebrows in the event of an 07. If I were to 7-0 again, I don't know. Maybe it means I get to cancel the bet. You missed the draft portion, but here we are playing. We do have a Scaldron for 1, but Charmed Sleep doesn't work yet with this mana, and Griffin is a ways off as well. I don't know if this is keepable. Oh, that's interesting. Yeah, I bet, Boris. Nobody played. This is tough. We're on the draw, though, so we have some time. I'm going to mulligan. I don't like that opener. It doesn't look good. I'm going to keep this. Looks better to me. Let's see. We have Keeper of the Fables on double, but we have Unexplained Vision, so I'm going to get rid of a Forest, and then we actually have Adamant on Vision. Keeping the Griffin in hopes that we find the splash. Uh-oh. Evil identified. Just for that, I'm going to go 7-0 Haj. Just needing win conditions. It was a weird draft. And we need win cons. Yeah, I only got 2 of them because of you, Haj. Fantasia had a hot start with the double keeper, but has now slowed on lands, so maybe we can get Fantasia off of the mana issues. Nothing for us to do here. I'm going to drop the island to support the Vision Adamant, and we're just going to make more food this turn. You're the queen of ice. You're willing to tap my dudes right down. Well, here we are again on this a similar looking plan. I like Griffin here, attack with Pixie, and then worry about Vision Halberd next turn. We tried to listen to the table, Haj. It was a very confusing draft. Charmed Sleeps were all over the place, kind of expecting some from Fantasia. We didn't see any on the wheel, and haven't seen much blue, so I'm expecting Fantasia just full of sleep spells. But hopefully moving the halberd around to whatever is awake will be enough in the air here. Beanstalk Giant is cool. I like fetching our splash here off the giant, casting the halberd, and getting in for damage. We could do the vision, but again, I'm going to go for damage now, and oh, I should have gotten green, I guess. I don't mind getting the planes, but now we can't do halberd and make food, so that's a little unfortunate, but still going in with the plan here. Library pretty healthy against the keepers. Got to watch out. We saw we did pass some runaway together. Runaway together is going to be good for Fantasia with the secret keepers. You're going to make me hungry too. This is all part of your plot to distract me with thoughts of food. Yeah, too bad we can't make more food here, but so it goes. So tiny, reasonable. Gonna open on Pixie Attack, though. The Beanstalk Giant makes me think Fantasia's holding up Didn't Say Please, and I kind of like just attacking with 4 in the air until Fantasia does something about it. Hey, look, Fantasia's doing something about it. And leaving up the Didn't Say Please, I might add. That's annoying. I kind of like go ahead and trying the vision now, and if Fantasia counters the vision, too bad. We miss out on some extra cards, but then if they're out of counters, Beanstalk Giant drops and is quite the beast here. So I think I want to try and resolve the Beanstalk Giant, and I'm going to demand Fantasia decide what to do about an unexplained vision first. Yeah, re-equip is up next too, but I want to start here. Re-equip will yeah, I guess we could punish the open mana, but the trouble is I don't think they're going to go below. They're going to keep Didn't Say Please up, you know. So well, let's find out if Jinx if Fantasia's on your page, because that's what I'm going to do. So kind of forced Fantasia to deal with that spell so that we can ask another question on this turn. Now, Fantasia has the counter for Beanstalk Giant as well. We tip the cap and move on. Well, not move on, but we tip the cap and probably lose the game. All right, well, now we have a chance. And next turn we get re-equip Halberd to the Goose to fly over, and hopefully an Abyss here on the ground in the Beanstalk Giant. But I'm very worried about Runaway Together. Runaway Together is how Fantasia pulls this off. Not that I've noticed Man Leggings asking about smoke up here in the PNW, Pacific Northwest, but I would say no on that right now. Got the so tiny at instant speed and only -2 right now. Feel like we've got pretty good situation, although this I was gonna say, like, we have a good situation and Fantasia needs to find answers, which is generally where you want to be. But Sage definitely helps, because now Fantasia gets to start looting and looking for good answers here, like getting rid of this land, maybe keeping a spell, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Don't have the mana or the power yet to threaten the giant, though. So I still am inclined to just hold, not cast the So Tiny here. If Fantasia wants to make this a race, that's good for us too. Who could So Tiny the Queen if that's what they're going on about here? Yeah, also quite a few Drown in the Locks, so very good point. But fortunately, we have our stuff down. I'm going to go So Tiny on the Queen. Probably ahead of Charming the Sage. I think if we attack now, we can certainly force the Secret Keeper chump, and I like getting the Secret Keepers off the board and then run away together doesn't recur the milling. Yeah, we can make him chump with Sage. I just don't want this to be bounced back and used against us again. So I hear what you're saying, but I actually think that these are very equivalent threats to our ability to win this game. So I don't think it's obvious. I think you could make a case for either one. 24 to our 13. It is kind of low, and that's why I'm worried about the Secret Keeper, right? So chumping the Sage makes them so they don't have a lot of looting. Chumping Secret Keeper means they don't get to bounce and recast. Yeah, I think Jinx is agreeing with me. I'm just saying that's true. Forever Youngs, and we did pass some Forever Youngs. We can do that too. Just keep the Charm Sleep. See what they want to do. I think I'm going to start with an attack and then let them... Looks like they're going to chump the Keeper anyway, which does suggest maybe Forever Young is the plan. But now we don't need to charm this now. We can wait. I mean, I don't want to get... Actually, we did pass discard 2, right? So maybe I should sleep the Sage so we don't get discarded. And I'm going to play the island for giant size. And because we do have... Although, I guess we only have the one card draw spell that we've already used. They do have a bunch of chumps here, though. So we're a couple turns off from actually getting there. I'm worried about our ability to close here. So they get to cast from our graveyard. What do they want? Charm Sleep. Well, takes out our big boy, but our goose is still doing something, and we have outs to that. Fantasia is top decking, so hopefully we can get there, but we got to crack 4 times with this goose before Fantasia finds something for it. I don't know. I think I doubt we're winning by hitting 4 times in a row with the goose. I think we need more than that. Scavengers will take it. We can bounce the turtle back, and I don't know, that doesn't necessarily do much, but it does give us another threat on the board. I suppose Didn't Say Please would make us mill sooner, but let's start with an attack then. River Turtle not doing anything anyway, even if we were to bounce something. So I'm just going to send Goose and see. No pause or anything. That doesn't necessarily mean they don't have a counter spell, but we're going to try this. Now there's a pause, so yep, another Didn't Say Please. We're down to 8. Quite the race. I don't know if anybody's not casting anything there just to avoid that. Oh man, you got to be kidding me. Now they got actually tapping. No, it wasn't a full control. What do you mean, Jinx? There was no full control there. There was no pause whatsoever because there wouldn't be a pause just from an attack on a counterspell, and then when we cast something, there was a pause. Yeah, Turtle and Rider does get in, so maybe that's going to be enough. The Rider not the worst here. On the edge here. Any more mill from Fantasia, and we probably can't get there. But let's see. Very good games today for sure. Very weird draft. I'm curious to hear how other participants who are hanging out in chat now. I mean, that draft was tough. From my seat, anyway. We were all over the place trying to figure out what the table was telling us to do. Fantasia figuring out which creature to tap here. If they go for the goose, we can at least make some food. Which we will do. Feels like that's more damage unless Fantasia has something for the Rider as well. We'll see. Indeed. That was the plan. So Fantasia ripping like a champ here, but if we can just find ourselves a creature, we should still be in good shape. But we're closing it. We need it soon. I can't even remember what's in my deck anymore. Yeah. 3 lands out of 6. What's our action? Let's see. Maybe I can look at my own deck here and figure it out. We do have Return to Nature. That would get us going. Get rid of that. Oh, Vantress Gargoyle. Or actually, I should check. There's Vantress. I gotta look at what's in the graveyard. Return to Nature's in the yard. Scaldrin? Do we have a Scaldrin? And what does that do for us? No, Scaldrin's there. I don't know. I don't even... Didn't say please might be left. Charmed Sleep? Do we have a Charmed Sleep? Doesn't matter. Like, we don't have the way to deal with the wheels, the problem. Oh, I missed it. True. Thank you. Great. Well, we need creatures! Not land! If we get a creature on top and Fantasia is out of mill, we can still get there, but... Fantasia ripping like a champ. I'm ripping like a chump. Another tight one, though, and need... if we get a creature right now, we have 2 swings to get it done. We need to draw... But if we get... Well, either creature should be fine because of the turtle. Basically, any creature gives us 2 attacks with a goose. So, hopefully... Well, hopefully it'll be the last damage we deal them. We're going to try and kill them with lethal on the stack. Or kill them with draw and lose on the stack. Yeah, we don't know which one it is, but any Fantasia keep on the top with the scry makes it look bad for us. I think we're done if Fantasia sees the right tapping. If we draw Griffin, we can set up for an attack the following turn with lethal. So now we need Griffin on top, or we need Fantasia not to tap the Keeper. And yes, we always assume Oppo's drawing nothing when we're desperately trying to figure out how to win, right? The general feel is that we can't beat anything, which is why someone who pointed out that Fantasia puts a thing on top like that, and then we're in trouble. Because what is it? That's okay? I mean, it's not, though. It would be okay if we drew the Griffin, but we didn't. So really just got worked over on the draws here. That's too bad. Good job, Fantasia, but boy, we got quite unlucky with how things played at the end here. No attacks, and I don't know, we move this over. I'm gonna scoop it up. We can't win. Darn it! I was hoping to get 7-0 this week.
It's dead, Jim.
Or here, I'll give you meme dead. Where'd it go?
Is this a dead man, Doctor?
Very dead, Mr. Spock.
Oh, that one's not. Oh, I need to do some adjustments there. Oh, maybe this one will work.
He's dead, sir.
That man's dead back there. Must be dead. He was worse than dead. His brain is gone.
Magic Star is up next. Good game, Fantasia. Man, you got what you needed exactly when you needed it throughout that end game. Ah, so close. Appa going first. We have a nice looking hand. We'll keep this. Oh, yeah, I'm not suggesting you got somehow insanely lucky, but certainly found a lot of answers just in time. You milled some of our key outs, too. Had a naturalize effect that you got in the milling that would have gotten us out of that. Not looking to trade for the 2/2 with my 3/1, especially with Charmed Sleep at the ready, Turtle at the ready, and Keeper at the ready. I mean, Keeper's needs a green, but you know what I mean. Curious Pair, my goodness. I could play Charm Sleep on the Squire. That seems silly. I might fire off the Cauldron, but we're just going to hold. I don't know, maybe it's worth it to just try Cauldroning the Squire. I think I'll take the 2, though, and maybe doing at the end of turn. See what else they want to do here. Just playing the pair. And the Skewer, interesting. Okay. So with that, we can go for the pair and clear the way for the Rider. And then like So Tiny, or even just turtle up, although Turtle with the Skewer, or Squire with the Skewer is 4 power of, and that blocks it, but then they just make food. So I'm going to go... I'm going to kill the Squire because I'm going to offer up the Rider and do the So Tiny move if they want. Oh, good, cool. We got the Forest for the Keeper as well. Could also just pass and see if they want to send... creature. Yeah, I'm gonna, never mind. I'm gonna, especially with the Turtle and the Forest, I'm gonna say no attacks and get the Turtle down, because now we can go Keeper of Fables into attacking with these 2 next turn, and if Magic Star wants to equip up and swing, we just take it. Guardian, a nice play onto the Curious Pair. Can take a little beating so that the Guardian can draw a card. Great flavor on this one. Wicked Stepmother. 4-2-1-3 does mean that we can't Keeper, like the River Turtle does die and doesn't take anything out with it. Unless we So Tiny, but we can't play the Keeper and So Tiny. So what I'm going to do is Charmed Sleep the Guardian, and then play So Tiny and Gilded Goose, or have So Tiny, play Gilded Goose and have So Tiny. We do have Rider food now. If 3 toughness comes down, we want to try and take it out with the Rider. Of course, if they equip, comes 4 toughness. Ouch. Reaper, very good here. Where's Hat? But we're going to shrink the Curious Pair rather than discard the card and just try to keep getting in. No, people do. At the very beginning of the format, Hat and I had several debates about exactly how good this card was. And to be fair, it actually fluctuated in value, especially in bot drafting, based on how the meta was. There were times where it was incredible and times where it was too slow. But it became a joke that anytime this card was in any way good, I would say, where's Hat? Because he was down on it. In this case, though, hoping that Turtle Rider gets there. Seems unlikely, especially with a 4/5 about to come down, but I guess 4/5 doesn't kill a turtle. Yeah, the elf on the fox got on top of the turtle to cross the river. $27, $26. I'm not going to self-mill. I think we'd handle a race. If they want to go 4/5 suit up attack, we're cracking back for a pretty healthy amount. And right now we still have the attack, so that's cool. I mean, we even have a Sage attack. We can attack with Sage, Turtle, and Rider. Saving the land now for possible loot. I guess they have easy blocks, so maybe sending the Sage doesn't matter, but keeping it back doesn't matter either. Reaper is going to fly when it attacks. If it attacks, might need to keep Reaper back on D with a skewer on it. That would make it so that it can now take out the turtle and the Sage, and makes us have to find a new plan. Thanks for hanging out today, everybody. Appreciate it. Ooh, interesting. Skewer on the pair. Mix it up. Now there's a double block and a kill. It's kind of same result. Thank you for that sub. Appreciate that. All right, we need to draw stuff now. We got a Sage. Any non-human creature gets to turn this island into a fresh card. Not exactly what we're looking for, but good enough. It holds down the Reaper and lets us resume our attacking. Oh, I forgot to make food. Oops. That was bad. Distracted, I guess. Still get a good attack, though. Do we need to send Sage? We send Turtle and Rider to get through. Pair blocks Turtle, but then Sage does have a good attack, so we send the Sage too. Wonder what's in hand here. Because right now they're giving up. Must be the +2/+2 adventure dude. Could be Appetite. I'm expecting adventure dude. Carver, yeah. All right, good play. We're back to hold mode. Appetite coming out of nowhere with +5/+5 is no joke. That's true. Well, now it's all falling apart. We really need something. We need to get this Sage finding our good stuff, or we're going to lose this. Thought we had turned a corner and had gotten it going again. Magic Star down to a single card in hand, but it was a card that led to the stopping of our plan and then drew some removal. So we are somewhat yikes here. Gonna remember my food this time. Food, food, food. Food. Help, please, deck. Qualifies. Qualifies. I could play the land and cast the giant. We don't have white yet outside of the goose. We could also take a turn, although we're pretty low here. Kind of want to get the big boy out. So I'm just going to... Yeah, also the trouble is, though, like, we miss out on a Sage activation that way. Like, if we wait a turn, we can play a giant... loot away an island and get more action. I'm just worried that at 12 that we might be too slow. So that's what I'm thinking. That's what I'm worried about. Use food to trade Carver for Rider. Wouldn't we rather just hold Rider back here and threaten this Swordmaster or whatever? Why do we want... I mean, they also... I guess it's a way to get this thing dead now before the Cauldron is around. I just know what that gets us. We get a dead Carver. And we turn their sights to the goose instead of the Rider. Yeah, I don't know. I'm just gonna. Well, no. If we force the block, it's forced. We force the Carver to block, so that would work. I just don't think we need to do that now. I'm gonna go with the somewhat greedy play, and 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm going to hold the land. If they... we can still cast the giant and then have something to loot. Yeah, that was the plan. We're trying to get a loot here, so I don't want to play this. My magic instincts are just trying to get me to play lands, but I gotta override. See, now I like putting the rider on the sword master, and I expect they use the cauldron at that point. I don't know what's going on here, but I'm not going to give up the sage to 4+3. So I'm gonna make them do something here. Magic Star's got to decide. It's turning into a very grindy match with all this food being generated. Get some more of it here. Now we're in a spot where we're going to need to play the island in order to cast the giant. So we'll see. If we find another land pretty easy, we still get to sage. But if not, we're going to have to decide if we want to loot whatever we draw. Uh-huh. 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 So they brought the Swordmaster back. Do we need to counter it? No, we're going to have the Giant. The Giant can handle a Swordmaster, right? So, sadly, don't really get the loot we wanted, but I got to play this Giant. And I will loot to see. But yeah, now we got to decide which of these is more appealing. And with no flying defense, I think we actually need the Pixie more than we need the DSP. Because they're already down, and we're not going to counter anything next turn, then they're top decking. Dude on the ground, small flyer, pecking away in the air. I mean, it's not a great plan, but it's a start. Hey, Hamster. Welcome. Glad you could join us. A card called Paladin. Menace 4/3, okay. Grinding this one out, boy. Big curry favor with, well, maybe not big, one curry favor for one. Small curry favor, possible. I want a land that we can loot away when we cast the Pixie. And then find something sweet. That's pretty sweet. Can't attack 7 or more. They're at 2. That's a ways off. We can play both of these, though. Let's start with a Gargoyle and loot. And then Pixie, do we bother looting? It's just self-mill at that point. And with 19 cards, I say no, we don't. And yeah, so we're going to decline that. Yeah, I know it can't block right now. Right now, Vantress Gargoyle not doing much. But looks pretty. eventually we start to self mill or mill both players, and then we'll get there. Will we get there in time? I think so. We're pretty well protected here at 11 life. I suppose if Magic Star finds a great card, it could enable an attack. All right, holding lands for the eventual Sage loot, and Pixie gets in, but can we afford to? If we send in Pixie, we look at a crackback where the Paladin demands like this double block. Gargoyle can't block at all. Pixie's not there to block. Then we're taking 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. That's no good. I think we got to stay back. Oh yeah, we have a lot of food, but so do they. I think we actually need to threaten to block with the Pixie now and eventually try to get there with a Gargoyle. That menace and the threat of that giant skewer going around is too much damage at our health. Even though we have some, we're at a virtual 20, so it's not that dire actually, but I still want to not just set them up to have obvious and big crackbacks. Intimidating. Charmed Sleep would be nice for that. Let's save 1 food. Griffin. Oh, I didn't operate Gargoyle. That was bad. Gonna have to do that for that to win. We can take this action at least. Yeah, pitch that. Yeah, missed Gargoyle. That's not good. I'm a little distracted by this giant that I don't know how we're going to deal with. We need to, like, threaten to double block. Ah! Not great. This one's slipping away from us, folks. $17 to $16. We don't have anything to mill them. Really don't like our chances here at all. Eventually, these black decks are going to have a Forever Young, too, so I don't really expect to win through black decks when we saw multiple Forever Youngs go by. I don't think an 8/8 is going to be as important as having loot fodder, but possibly should have thought it through more thoroughly. Question is, can we take a hit from a 12/12 as we hunt for a Charmed Sleep? If we take a 12/12 hit, we might not be able to defend against the next attack, like an attack all with everything else. So, well, let's see what they want to do. I assume a 12/12 is on the way, though. Oh, are we out? Yeah, I thought we had more, but maybe I've used them all. There's a So Tiny then, but So Tiny doesn't really help with that. Even yeah, especially with the graveyard there. 12/11, you're right. And that does matter. 7, 8, 9 could mean we should have played the island so that we have a 2-block trade. So balls. I don't know. Don't know what we're looking for and how we come back from this. 5 plus 7. We could just double block here. 7, 8, 9, 10, and hope that's enough. But these two being dead means we're just going to be dead after that. I'm going to say I don't know what we're looking for exactly, but I'm going to say no blocks here and hope we find it. Yeah, Gargoyle can't even block yet, so I don't even know why I'm thinking about it. Just doing math with the numbers in front of my face, but can't even block with a Gargoyle anyway. A lot of twists and turns in these games today. I'll say that I have felt ahead and behind, I think, in every game we've played. Maybe there's some that we just stomped. But I feel like they've been very tight back and forth games here. I don't even want to go mostly dead. I think we're kind of just dead. I don't see how we... without Charm Sleep as an out, I don't know what we do. Let's loot. Let's draw. Scry that down. Probably don't even need the Acolyte here. Let's keep the Halberd and see if that can get on a flyer and somehow do something. I don't know. We still have this beastie giant, but start here. Yeah, it's really tough. You know, I want to think, but that the adamant noise really makes it tough to think in those spots. Again, thinking about this land, whether we want looting or mana. If we play this, we have... We can't attack yet. Can almost block. Maybe we need to just hold and see if we can block next turn. I'm losing the thread on this game. I feel like I'm dead and it's now making me not do math and stuff. I think we just need to stay back though. At 5 life and with facing Menace and one of our creatures that can't currently block, we just have to hold and hope. In fact, maybe I'm supposed to play this and play the Merfolk as a slightly better blocker. I'm gonna do that. And I guess I knew it was coming, so shouldn't have done that. But Scavengers, we don't really want to bounce anything of theirs anyway. It's a good blocker, though. I'm going to pitch it, though. Again, I'm kind of making snap decisions. I don't think these decisions matter much. I can't find a thread to how we win this game from this position, so kind of doing stuff and hoping. $13.12 currently. 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. If we could block with a Gargoyle, we would have a two creature block. As it is, probably need to go Griffin, Merfolk, Giant on the Giant. But then again, if we do that, and then how are we winning the game? I just don't even know. But I am going to go with actually trying to kill this thing. And 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So we just need one more. I don't think chumping gets us. We can't chump and expect to win. We do need to actually try and kill this thing and somehow win after that. Maybe even offering. Yeah, this is annoying because the 13, as said, 13 is just perfect on the 8 toughness, 5 toughness. So yeah, maybe one of the pixies is going to be better. We need 5 toughness for the follow-up blocks. I don't know. I don't think we can win. Maybe I'd save us all a lot of time by scooping here, but I'm trying to at least give me a chance to find something I'm not thinking about yet. But they get everything. It's a 3-for-1 here, at best. So... All right, whew, it worked. We 3-for-1'd ourselves. I was worried that wouldn't work and we would fail to 3-for-1 ourselves. Oh, now you're just trying to get me to scoop out of frustration. I don't think we can win off of those draws. How do we win off of Griffin, Rosethorn, So Tiny, Return to Nature? I don't think we can do it, and I'm already over noon. We got a couple more to play, so I'm gonna call Magic Star the winner here. Good game, Magic Star. We can't reduce Magic Star to 20 in 3 turns or whatever. Ugh, started so strong, now chat is coming back. All right, Media. Bring it. Oop, where did Media go? What? Did I somehow, like... Oh, Jedi Dawn. I was looking for... But there, Media was there for a second. Sorry. There we go. Good game, Magic Star. Ground me out. Thought we were going to get it done until your giant showed up. Then I'm like, wow, now I don't know what we do. Need some more blue, but I'm going to keep this on the strength of Scaldron and having some enchantment artifact hate. Scavengers is a bit far off, and we're probably going to use Scaldron before Scavengers is looking at it, but probably also likely to find another enchantment before we drop the Scavengers. Two drop would be nice with the Rosethorn ready to do some work. Uh-oh, Jedi liked the clover. Probably means we should just return it. We don't have anything else to do anyway, so let's say goodbye to that. Not great here. Might have to use a Cauldron on a token. I don't think we're going to do that, though. We're at least going to take 2 and then see. Splash coming to get us, though. We would have Didn't Say Please up almost certainly. I think we were at 9-8 Island Forest and then went 8-8 for the splash. So in a non-splash world, this is an island that allows us to DSP. But hopefully we get to kill something reasonable here. Our big question is, do we kill the 2/2 if nothing reasonable shows up here? That's reasonable enough. I'm going to go for it before it starts to do some silliness. Turtle, I'll take it. At least we can play it. And not a bad wearer of the halberd either. Turn it into a 3/5. That's not bad. A 3/6 even. Well, we have our didn't say please mana now, but we're going to go with halberd. Was this Vision's instant? No, it's a sorcery, right? I like halberd and then stay on D for now. Like 3 for their 5 isn't worth it. But halberd does give us scavengers for value. We can at least kill the token on the scavengers. Can't do our own stuff, right? Interesting that they... Yeah, I'm going to DSP this. We want that defense here. Foxy. Just going to play the Griffin. And Griffin does some blocking here, but I'm going to stay back on D with the turtle. Scavengers might set up a nice attack with both turtle and Griffin next turn. Boy, good thing we got this taken care of. I like adding blue and visioning for cards, but I'm going to send in the Griffin first. They might have a runaway together, which we have not seen yet. We didn't see it from the mill deck, and I know we passed them, so I'm worried about a runaway together lurking around here somewhere. And bringing back Lonesome Unicorn is going to, help them make more tokens in that spot. So they had an outflank, which we also saw a bunch of. Three lands, thank you, deck. One flyer that we're definitely going to keep, and then a rider that I find underwhelming. I'm actually going to bin that in this board situation. We have no food and a bunch of ground stuff that's just going to trade off meaninglessly, so let's look for better. But 3 lands off the vision was not my vision of how that would go. We do get scavengers killing at least 1 night token. That's not the worst. Heavy aggro. Now what are we looking at? Probably, what if it's the... What are we playing around in blue and white? We've got outflank that could deal 4. We've got... +2/+2, and well, if so tiny, we don't care. I'm just worried about how we're gonna lose our turtle. Outflank is likely, but I'm still gonna make that offer, and then we put the turtle on Flutterfox, and outflank is still a 2-for-1 in that spot, or even it is with a unicorn. We just throw on the unicorn, and it's a 2-for-1 in that spot too. So I'm gonna call. The other thing is, like, it's just a turtle. We get the halberd behind, even if it's some kind of outflank or trick that saves everything here. Scaldron for the finish. So we could have gone for one of the smaller ones and it would have survived. Also don't know what this other card is. Maybe they had a plan for either case. But I'm still fine with that result. We still have our halberd, and we know we had Griffin coming. Or no, did we leave Griffin on top? Yeah, anyway, we get to bounce a token now. Looks like it was outflank. Does outflank outflank attacking or blocking? So that wasn't an outflank pause because it needs attackers or blockers. I'm not sure what they paused on 1 for there. Anybody come up with a... I think it was 1 white was open and it paused. So Tiny is nice in response to a double block. Basically, we get to shrink one of them out of it entirely. So we have a safe attack into Griffin, and then we can put Halberd on next turn. Wanting to hold lands for looting, wanting to play lands for giant, but I think it's correct to hold the forest here. Although we play the forest, we can play the acolyte, so there's that. Maybe I'm supposed to just play the acolyte. I kind of like holding the... Shepherd of the Flock. Interesting, yes. Yes, good call. To that end, if we are thinking Shepherd, I'm going to go ahead and play the Rosethorn then. Because if we go so tiny, they're going to shepherd whatever we tiny. So maybe want to make them shepherd for like unicorn value or something. But going for the big flyer now and make them have something. Could also attack with the scavengers with the so tiny, but I'm liking ground dudes on defense. Oh, whoa! That was just a misclick. I'm completely surprised to see Acolyte attacking and not Griffin. I was kind of going to do this so tiny here anyway, so I'm going to do it so we don't lose the Acolyte, but this is dumb. Now here comes the flock, right? Not what I wanted to do, obviously, but hopefully we can still somehow maintain. All right, Ryan. Who do you want to attack with? Oh, yes. Thank you. So we can go Pixie and Merfolk, or we can go Pixie move, or Merfolk move, move Halberd. But I like 2 spelling here. We don't need the Halberd anywhere to do good blocking. I guess like putting Halberd on something like the Merfolk would help it block. But anyway, the point is I think we're in good enough blocking shape here to... Oh, I can still move it. Interesting. I could move it onto the Merfolk, but then Acolyte's already doing a fine blocking job. I'm just going to let it go. I mean, I don't care. Like, it was a punt. I should just let go of all debate about punts and let you all decide completely. Because obviously that was a punt in the sense of a game mistake. It's nothing I can really learn from. We didn't learn anything about magic there, you know, but it was a mistake, so you can call it what you will. Definitely trading. Well, maybe we don't need to. Maybe I take 4, and then we leave the prized Griffin back to block the foxes and send the Marrowleaf in as a 4 power. I think I like that here. Obviously, you're not looking for land draws here. But gotta keep somewhat aggro. We're also very low on life to be attacking with this board, but we do have good blocks. So I'm willing to trade the merfolk, and these currently have eating level blocks. So as long as I can force Jedi to need to find something, I'm willing to be aggressive with the pixie. It's not real learning, though. You know what I mean. You could argue that it's about instilling better habits or whatever, but I'm talking about learning formats, learning interactions, that kind of thing. It feels very different. Now are we in trouble? We still got two good blockers, even if one of them is out of the way, but we're probably gonna have to trade off the merfolk here, or we're dead. Or are we just dead? Certainly going here and here and finding out. Well, we're dead. Boy, been a rough 3 games. Started out strong, now dunzo. Gonna have to put on full control bluffs, or we aren't gonna convince. I don't think this is gonna work, but we'll put them on. Yeah, upkeep stop is a reverse tell, because the game doesn't stop on upkeep by habit. So if you put the stop there like I did, it can actually tip the other way. Not in the way that I'm hoping for. They don't. All right, chat has pulled it even. I thought I was looking good to end my streak, but here I am again, staring at potential losing of the week. But nice to have it even at the end. Always exciting to go into the final game with the week on the line. And what an anchor for chat in Hajj. Good game, Media. All right, come on. I want to win a week. I get to win a week, don't I? This looks like a good start to win a week, but I don't know. I've had some good starts that have fallen completely flat. Let's see what happens here. Yes, the hair is kept, but, you know, my pride is looking for some love as well. Well, at least we know a couple people were fighting for dwarves, and here we can go Pixie. I'm going to leave the mana up. We'll see if Hajj goes for a second dwarf. I'll probably Tiny the first. Might even Tiny the first anyway. I'd rather Cauldron a dwarf, though. I'm going to go ahead and block, because then we can sow tiny and actually kill, in which case it doesn't pump any further dwarves. But I might... Let me sow tiny first and see if it works. Normally I like to block first, but in this case I want to see that the creature successfully shrinks. Yeah, it could be barge. If we want to avoid the barge, maybe I just accept this. Yeah, the barge is a great point. And there was a pause there. So I think I'm going to say no blocks. Right, it's 0 damage, but this dwarf pumps up other dwarves. So the idea of killing it was to avoid more dwarf pumping. Here, though, how about... let's go Return to Nature on Trebuchet and then play the Cauldron and crack in. We also have 4 mana. We could go return like Rider. But I like Return, Cauldron, Attack. We could also go Pixie Rider. I actually kind of like that. Let's 2-spell this turn and get... yeah, well, I was going to kill it. I mean, it's an artifact and I was going to kill it. So that's the idea. But I like the 2-spell. Because we can return next turn and clear the way for both pixies, and potentially this rider as well. Pretty nice. Coax. I like it. It's all the rage. Still trying to get us to accept the barge in. Now we could put the rider on it and trade rider for barge in and get a 7 dwarfs off the table. Do we care about that? Probably not, because we can burn the red cap and destroy the trebuchet. Rimrock, also possible. Rimrock and Bargain do similar stuff in those spots. So now we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 mana. I like Return to Nature, Trebuchet, and just get in the air only here, and then call that a turn. Could have left 1 pixie back to make food or whatever, but now let's just get the Scaldron down. This also tips the hand that we have the Scaldron, but I do like setting it up ahead of now the possible Rimrock or Bargain seems a lot less problematic. If it's Rimrock, and we did pass Rimrocks and Bargains. Ooh, Opportunistic Dragon, you're kidding me! Come on! Oh, you're kidding me? Hodge, you're killing me, man. You're killing me. I'm just trying to get 4 wins for once in my miserable life. Come on! Well, we got Prize Griffin. Does it ever come back? Like, let's see. And at least can't scald us. Yeah, let's do that. I'm complaining, but we actually have a plan. Let's do that. Yeah, no, it doesn't work, right? Because the red cap has first strike. So that's a nice idea, but doesn't work. We need to make food to make a griffin, and then we have something to do. At least Hodge can't throw our cauldron back at us, but oh my god. Yeah, we obviously we knew it was coming. Dragon Shadow Mountain. It was Rimrock all along. This does give us the potential rider play if Hodge doesn't play anything with first strike or that can affect our rider. Island up suggests maybe So Tiny is still in our future. Probably So Tiny knowing Hodge, but also probably need to try and can't really check for pauses without committing. I guess we hit next here and we can see if there's a pause right here. Didn't seem like there was one, so attack, hold control, and sack the food after. And that means we can send the pixies in as well. Gotta try. I mean, either way this is gonna work or we were never gonna win anyway. Sacrifice target creature, this dragon. Blocks if able. And now we have Cauldron at the ready and could even just take out the red cap now. Just trying to figure out if I'm supposed to use this Cauldron before letting Hodge untap. And I think I do. Like, I just want this red cap dead. I'm going to kill it. Technically, the red cap is threatening less damage right now than the Rimrock, but I think we all know the potential damage here is just too scary. We can now make food with the goose and get the griffin. Now we can make food with the goose but not get the griffin. But So Tiny is going to help us continue pressing our race advantage. Or now we have a race advantage. And again, not looking to get countered here. I'm going to So Tiny the threat right now. That is interesting. Uses up Hodge's whole turn. Basically means we get him to 4, but means Hodge gets to look at get 3 cards, scry 3 more. So we'll see where Hodge does with the scry, but assuming scrying anything on top, I don't think we're clean to win. If we get 3 on the bottom, that's obviously what we want to see, but not counting on that. Well, hopefully Hodge is trying to figure out if any of these cards represent a way to win. And then maybe he comes up with no. Keeps 1 on top, though. No more goose, so I think we go ahead and eat some food here. All right, that is fantastic. Whatever Hodge kept on top is going to get countered and hopefully clear the way for me to win the week. Do I get to win a week? I don't know. I hope so, but I'm waiting for Hodge to be some kind of a genius here and stop me. Seven dwarves doesn't stop our win, so we let that happen. We're only looking for wind prevention, and that stops it. So get out of here, Trebuchet! I think that's a good game. I have emotes off, so if Hodge is emoting, ooh, I wouldn't know. Another tight one. What a week of play. Chat has been playing me to the wire every week. It's been great. Glad I finally got a week. Glad I'm keeping my hair. Glad the games have been great. All right. Sure Hodge will be back here shortly. We'll say a healthy good game there. All right, chat. I gotcha. I'm going to give you one more hair toss.
I do my hair toss.
Well, first I'm going to apparently stop that one.
I do my hair toss. Check my nails. Baby, how you feeling?
But great playing, great work making it interesting. I call that free memes. My meme punts are your free memes. Save them channel points. All right, back to Soapbox. Another fun gauntlet. Boy, do I love Eldraine with humans over bots. That was the real lesson. We kind of trundled along without human drafting on Arena. Then Eldraine showed up and I think changed Wizards' priorities. I think Eldraine was such a poor bot experience that format alone moved up human drafting on the calendar. I haven't spoken to anybody at Wizards or on the team about that, but I would predict that the severity of Eldraine's problems with bot drafting was probably a motivator for what got it to us by Ikoria. So, yeah. But that was a great week, a great gauntlet as usual. Always so fun to draft and play against you all. And I thought I was 3-0. I got my 4 wins, but man, you all made it close. Made it close. Now, is anybody going to raid captain or do I have to make something up? Looks like I'm going to have to make something up. I am going to go ahead and throw this survey gizmo survey at you one more time. If you all could do some write-in candidacy for me on what streams you watch, that would be a kind thing. You know, not everybody has cash to throw at subscriptions or donations or bits or whatever. But if you have a few minutes and you want to go and fill out that survey and throw in Going Optimal as a write-in stream that you watch, that might help me make it to the survey as a actual vote option, which would help my stream a lot too. So looks like Fluffy wants to go to Fluffy. We can do that. Am I following you yet? I better make sure I'm following Fluffy Face. What? Oh, you're not streaming. What were you saying then? Who am I rating? Doggart? All right. You can vouch. I'm not sending you to some nasty person with a terrible community. I assume not. I don't think anybody in my community would send me to a terrible community, but you know, I'm just making sure we got the vouch. I'm not seeing. Oh, was there? Doggart Q Bones is not showing Fluffy. So I'm not finding a Doggart Q Bones. Oh. But I just copied it. Oh, okay. There is someone I can raid. You got it. All right, let's follow and raid. All right, everybody. Thanks for hanging as always. Always fun to gauntlet with you on Fridays. You'll get my hair next time, right? I'll get my hair back next time, something like that. Anyway, good times. Say hello to our new friend, Doggart Q Bones, and we'll see you on Monday. Have a fantastic weekend. Bye, everybody.